Guess who's back? Back again. I am back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? It's me. Dun 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 dun. Yes, it is. It's Mr. 100% Gamer, and this is Chapter 7, Part 2 of the Ratchet Clank 100% Guide. Now, in the last part, I ran out of time to show you the gold bolt for this area, the force field of doom. But I will show you it now. What you've got to do, you've got to use the air vents to propel yourself on top of that walkway and jump over the force field of doom. And then grab the gold bolt and then just get rid of the force field to allow yourself to leave. Now this part will feature transitions galore. See, we're only a minute in, we've already seen one. Because that one was just purely quick and the whole thing up. Because you've already seen me walk down there once. So it's a bit pointless showing you it again. But I am quite good at Speedy, but I am not very good at Tricky. So I was expecting for, if I'd done them all in one recording, that I would run over the half an hour I've got to record, and so I would then not be able to do the Captain Cockpit. So I stopped recording after. So I did the Captain Cockpit straight after the normal race for the mission, and then continued on, and then came back on a different recording later on to try and do Tricky and Speedy. Unfortunately for me, it was under half an hour, so I could have done it anyway.
Clark's giving away a brand new platinum zoomerator to the winner of this competition.
So I didn't need the transitions. But anyways,
perhaps that will be the proof of your accomplishments that Skid's agent requires.
this is the introduction to the hoverboard race for Rilgar, which we've been building up to since Chapter 4. Had a mention of it in Chapter 4 and in Chapter 6. Doesn't seem much, but as far back as Chapter 4 that I mentioned Chapter 7. It's quite unusual. Well, anyways, as you'll notice, there's lots of explosive crates here. Lots of crates just to pick up boards. There's amoeba, small amoeba, all over the track. Now, if you have watched videos, you may have seen that this track is sometimes barren. There's nothing on it. And the reason for that is that if you are a bad racer, you can crash into those so much it's not funny. And sometimes when the race finishes, they will permanently disappear. What I don't recommend doing is just driving purposely into the crates, because that does not work. It just gets you blowing the F up all the time. It only works sometimes, so you'd be wasting your time a lot. See, it's come back again there. So you just have to keep going through, keep ruining the race. Usually you get it when you're doing Tricky and Speedy. Looks like I'm going to get a pretty decent time. I'll not get the score because there's the score there, 1 minute 36. So I'm going to have to make up 7 seconds.
Folks, Captain Quark here. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce this year's HoverCon Intergalactic Champions. Let's give it up for newcomers,
Ratchet and Clank.
Hey, look, that's us.
Today's
Yeah,
winners will
that's
take
good.
home a brand new professional
Who's clapping?
Model T15 Platinum Zoomerator.
This what must be like
This hoverboard drive
10-pin
more lift,
bowling.
speed, and
This
maneuverability than
random
any
clip.
other
That's just dark, I don't know
aircraft
why.
on the market.
I've brightened that
Well,
clip,
folks,
I don't
that's
know
all the
why.
time we have. Tonight, remember to set your
It's
info
still
box
dark,
to the
but, you know,
Quark Classic channel
it's okay.
for tonight's episode of Dogfight Over Death Canyon, starring yours truly. Thank you and have a quark-tastic day.
we will have a fantastic day, because we've got the Platinum Zoomerator, we've got a gold bolt, and now we're gonna come back here after leaving. So video transition time, and we're going to get 2 of the hardest skill points in the game. Why I say 2 is because Tricky is very hard for me, and everybody else seems to think that Speedy is really hard. So you know, I personally think Magician's a lot harder. Skill point on Calabo 3. But you know, some people will find different things hard. Now we are going to do Tricky first, because this took me about 6 or 7 goes to do, so it was quite good for me. I'm not using my Speedy style, because my Speedy's... There's a trick, by the way. What you have to do is jump and then press L1 or R1 or L2 or R2, and it'll do a skill. There is a skill point. You've got to do a twisty mid marks, and how you do that is, as I said, how you do a skill is make a jump using X, and then press, when you get to the top of the jump, hold the left analog stick left, and press R1, wait a second, R2, wait a second, L1, wait a second, L2, wait a second. Now that is not the order you have to do it, just do it in any order, the 4 buttons, the 4 shoulder buttons, just use them in any order, and that should do it. Now, for Speedy, you want to average roughly about 33 seconds per lap, and this is my technique how you do it. You want to do as little jumps as possible, but when you do them, you want to cut the track, like I've just done there, by jumping through the pipes and then jumping across these gaps. And therefore you save a lot of time, but try and hit as many of the boosts as possible. It's pretty easy actually. I have managed about roughly 33 seconds per lap at the moment, which should get me between 130 to 136. Also, you got to try not to die, because then you'll... and refrain from trying to do tricks, because that loses you all the time. Now this is where I fail. Yep, I did really well there. But even though I managed to somehow die, I'm still going to pass with a time of 1 minute 35 seconds. Which, considering I died, still got the skill point, is pretty damn good. Epic even. Epic win. So now 2 of the hardest skill points in the game are over and done with. Hoverboard races, who's your daddy? I'm your daddy! Now that's game over for the hoverboard races on Rilgar. See you in the next part. Now, I know I'm going to get questions about this, so I'm just going to answer it now, truthfully, with no jokes included. If you have the NTSC American version of Ratchet Clank, then you'll be wondering how I managed to obtain the skill point Speedy with a time of 1 minute 35.08, which is over your time of 1 minute 35 for the skill point. That is because in the PAL European version, you need a time of 1 minute 36 to pass the skill point. Now, if you don't know about the conversion rate, then you'll be thinking that's a bit unfair. You get an extra second to finish it for the skill point. As I've just mentioned, there's a conversion rate difference, so if I got 1 minute 35.08, you'd get 1 minute 34.08. It's basically like that. It's a conversion rate difference with the times. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would have gotten to 1 minute 35 anyway, even on my version, if I hadn't have crashed, so, you know, it's all good. Well, hope that helped. If you were wondering, see you in the next part.